Hello everyone. Now I know what you're thinking. It's June, not even July. What are you doing with this Christmassy look? Let me explain. This is my look for the Enchanted theme of the NYX Space Awards Australia 2018 Top 15. But how did I get here? Let me explain. When I hear Enchanted, I think of two main movies. Enchanted and Beauty and the Beast. And when I think of Beauty and the Beast, I sometimes think of their Christmas sequel, which has the name The Enchanted Christmas. I loved this movie as a kid, from the jankier animation to the awesome villain of Tim Curry as an animated organ. So what if someone got turned into a present? Well, that's pretty visually boring. So how could I make this idea a little more out of the box? Make stuff break free of the box. Brilliant. And that's how we got here. I was hella scared of doing something that someone else was going to already do for this theme. I will bet you I will eat my hat if someone has done this. You still with me? Probably not, but if you are, let's get into this. Starting off, I have a lace front wig. It is fancy, it is Christmassy, but the lace has gotta go, so I chopped it off. And I tucked all my hair into a wig cap, and I don't know why, because I took it out pretty soon afterwards. Now, using some shitty non-NYX eye pencils, I'm outlining the chest bursty design and some fake old bobs. I draw out where the paper will be ripped open, and I try to make sure it's relatively realistic in that there is not an excess amount of paper than would have been there had the rippage not occurred. Drawing the demon's hands is a little more tricky. I am doing some crazy gestures to try and move my free hand into positions so that it can be a reference for the drawings. I like to break up the joints into ovals and widen the ovals at the knuckles. Getting the back of the hand right, like your other side of your palm, is probably the trickiest part to make sure that the perspective is right. I want to make it look like it's coming out of the chest. I also gave this little other demon the little two-finger hands. Now I am using various shades of green to fill in the wrapping paper such that it will match my hair. I'm using darker green in my contour areas, and I use this light green to fill in the rest. But it's not quite a match for the wig, so I get some light blue paint into the mix to liven it up. Because this isn't a block style makeup, I blend these sections using a mildly damp brush, or rather the same one I've been using, swirled around in a water cup and mildly dried on my pant leg. If the paint is patchy or the blending leaves some areas too dark, you can always come back in with paint. I started off using Hot Singles to contour, which is a pretty shiny dark green eyeshadow, which doesn't really work, so I moved on to using the matte green shade from the Avant Pop palette, Art Throb palette, and contoured my usual places. Cheeks, nose, any divots really, to try and make me look a little bit slimmer. I used the light green shade in this palette as the highlight since it has such a bright reflect, but it was a little too lime to match the wig, so I took the pigment Twinkle by NYX to add in a little more blue. I'm taking a little black paint to fill in the outline of my eyebrows here, then fill the front in and blend it with that Dare Hot Single eyeshadow. To give some more definition, I ran Vivid Envy liner lightly over the brow hairs to emphasize them. Now taking some red paint, I fill in one demon hand, or the upper sections of the fingers, and I do the same with orange to the other large demon hand. Then I started to re-outline where I wanted the paper to go since it got lost when I was doing the base, as did some of the finger outlines of the demon hands. I realised plain green Christmas wrapping is boring AF, so I took silver body paint and speckled it all over me. Then taking purple body paint, I started adding some purple snowflakes. Why purple? I just kind of like the purple green thing. Anyway, I do also want to make some more realistic snowflakes, while keeping the purple flare, so I'm taking Epic Hot Singles shadow to add spots of diffused purple around my face, where I will put varying sizes of snowflakes. Drawing snowflakes is pretty easy, they can be anything you want, just try to keep some balance and symmetry amongst the spokes of the snowflake and you'll be fine. I also added bigger dots of silver further away for further away snowflakes, or pegged snowballs. Could be either. I wiped away as much of the green paint as I could that was in the outline of the ripped paper bits, and then I filled them in with some gold paint, but I do eventually go over this in a light tan mix for more of a papery vibe. And redo the little biclawed demon since he got painted over with grey. Now the base paper is done, I can finish off filling in each of the demon hands. If you make one finger too big, don't fret, you can always chubify the other ones to match. I used a slightly darker red on the underside of these fingers to help differentiate the two fingers so they don't become a blob of colour. I take high definition blush in crimson to even out and add brighter light to the red demon hand, and take the blush in double fair, the orange. I took a Blue Jeans Hot Single eyeshadow for the bite claws. Now taking the Avant Pop palette in Surreal My Heart, I use the black to add shadows to the hands and paper. Adding the shadows generally when something is directly touching something right close to it, like when the fingers are pushing onto the paper or the nails are touching the wrapping, but leaving a little gap if they hover higher above. And comes the recolouring of the wrapping paper. Now taking the yellow from Surreal Your Heart, I add more highlights to the orange hand and also to the paper. To make it look more curved, I shade either side of the cylindery shape of the curve with the brown in the palette, and then I use a touch of white eyeshadow in the middle over where I put the yellow. I filled in the nails of both of the demon hands using slightly different colours for variation, and then more shading. I'm filling the inside of the present red, kind of like a hellscape scene, and I leave the edges fill in black, which I guess is to try and give like a glowing from within feel. Adding a touch more dimension with more knuckle tendon definition with yellow, and add some skin wrinkles with white and dark red to the red hand. You can use the older red blush that we'd been using before to tone it down if it gets a little too harsh. I add highlights to all the claws with white paint, plus a little to the edges of the hands to give that glow within feel and also to define the edges. I drew this monster face blurred and far in the distance, inspo at Del Toro's Quest. I highlighted with white, toned with the red, and shaded with black, even giving it that back throat thingy that I won't look up what it's called because you already know what I'm talking about. I also added like spider eyes and another little claw reaching up. So I tried to put in some big old scary lenses and my eyes weren't having it, so no scary eyes apart from the bloodshotedness. For the eyes I was trying to make a bit of a cut crease with the Ego Metallic Liquid Suede as a base, using Blue Jeans Hot Single with some of the purple and blacks of the Avant palettes to deepen. I used green paint like concealer to cut the crease and a bit of silver paint to define the cut of my lid, but I did it a little messily, so I reblended the shadows over the edge of it to clean it up. Then I added a big old wing and added a bunch of gems on the wing. And yes, I am terrible at getting any of these steps on camera. Using Alien Liquid Suede on the outside of my lips, Electromagnetic Cosmics Metals lip cream on the top, hodge of old lip glosses on the bottom, I do my lips. Also, not very well on camera, and some random gems I found for the eyebrows. Not everything can be explained, guys, but sometimes I just want to do something weird to look cool. And now we are done. Reminder, this is my entry into the top 15 of the NYX Face Awards Australia, and I need your votes. Go to this website, which I've also linked in the description below, to go vote. You can vote for me 3 times with one account, and if you're feeling bored and have another email, you can make another account to vote 3 times again in the same day, or you could beg your family members to vote. That's what I've been doing. Voting opens on the 6th of June today and closes on the 11th in the year of 2018. Thank you so much for watching and voting, and I love you all, and I will see you all soon. Stay classy, peeps.